Look, good sign that Arnold is already in before I announced it. Love to see it. Let me quickly share it. Dylan as well. Yeah, good. The YouTube notifications. Love it. Does everyone get a notification each time I go live? I think it does then. Good to see you, Bren. Great trade you took. BTC pretty bearish. We are on the way to the range though. But let's wait 2 minutes and then we get into it. Welcome Wes as well. Abby, good to see you. Kijos and Rice Baby as well. Good to see you guys. And Lise. Love to see the same people literally every day. Sui Cactus, sorry everyone. No need to say sorry. In the end, it's always everyone's their own responsibility to take or not take a trade. So if you take a trade and it turns into a loss, it's your own responsibility. And it actually looked pretty good, but I will reflect on it during the stream as well, because there were a few points why, in hindsight, it was not the best, but I was not looking too sharp at it as well. But we can always learn from it, so I will discuss it later. But first, let's go over Bitcoin. Seeing the same people in here is like seeing the same people at the gym. It's awesome. Yeah, it's great. Eventually, we should host a real live meetup. That will be crazy. Okay, so let's first start with BTC. Last week was the week of the front run, and this week so far I will call it the week of the chop. Crazy chop. But once again, it proves that what I have been saying over and over again, that if you have internal ranges, which we had like this week, we had that first internal range high, range low, then potential tap 2. But it was all within the main range. So our main range has been range high, range low. And from experience, more often than not, if you have an internal range, you have to be very careful trading it, because very often it plays out differently as you like, because here even more liquidity builds up, and eventually market wants always to trade towards the bigger liquidity pockets, which are always at your range extremes. So this time again, it was worth looking at the potential range forming here, but it was never confirmed. And yeah, as you can see, a lot of chop, and near your point of control within a range, you can often expect violent or weird moves. So if you think what is this for kind of price action, that is pretty typical behavior to see near your point of control, where you can get a lot of market structure breaks and just wild moves both sides. If you have that, then oftentimes you are at your range point of control. And that's also what we saw this time. By the way, also welcome Matt and Astral Eyes. Good to see everyone. So my plan, which we made yesterday, was to look for that potential model 2, in which we had tap 1, tap 2, and then we had a pretty good break back in the range right here. So this is where I was thinking like, okay, that looks pretty good. We broke back above Monday's low. So here we swept Monday's low, took liquidity below it, also at the range value area low. So that is where you want to see buyers step in. Then we broke back in the range, also broke structure. So this looked pretty good to me for a range rotation back to your modest high. For that, I want to see the model 2, which we had 1, 2, and then here look for that sweep of the daily open, where we had a warning sign right here. But we never got structure. So I always say you want to have structure in your move, which would have been like this, lower low, then take out the daily open, and if you then flip it back to bullish, that is like a clean long trigger, what I wanted to see. But as you can see right now, you mostly just have a move down without good structure. And this shows seller strength. And then you don't want to enter. So always when I share like a good POI, which was in this case the daily open sweep and the demand below it. So we had some demand right here. And I say you want to have structure in it. Then what I mean with that is that you have these lower highs, lower lows, tap into it, break structure, and then that is your entry confirmation. This is seller strength. You don't want to long into that move. So the idea here never got confirmed. And instead we formed, like I was not too sharp at it, but during London, we made this move up in which you could technically say this is your high, this is your low. What do we have here? Exhaustion. So we have tab 1, tab 2, tab 3, and then there was not really structure to confirm the break of structure. Yeah, sorry, I always want to have the dots on it. That's maybe my autistic side or something. The chartist. There was no structure in this move, but you can clearly see that you made your third tap and then basically broke it back to bearish right here. So this could have been technically a... Oh. Do you guys still hear me? Because I get an alert that I'm locked out of my account on YouTube, but... Okay. Okay, I can't react, but as long as you guys can hear me, I guess it's fine. It shows me that I'm logged out, but I can still see everything. If you don't hear me, send it in the chat. Then I have to fix it, but for now I guess it's good. So here we basically saw the classic 1, 2, 3, the model 1 distribution showing exhaustion. And I only saw it later, but we had pretty clean confluence. Here, let's show it with the order flow, where we had 40 million in aggressive buying right at the daily high. Here you can also see CVD started to spike, positive delta right here. So it seems like either a big player wanted to push price higher, or just everyone turned bullish right at the high, and that is where a big player thought, okay, let's use them as a liquidity to reverse price. So if I was more sharp and I would have seen this together with that model 1, then yeah, it could have been a nice short hedge to take it here, see that aggression lower. Then if price is here, you already know that big buys that started entering right at the top, if you are trading here, they are underwater. So then you can just trade with the trend, and then if price goes lower, they likely close their positions, and then you get that cascade, which eventually also happened. So this could have been a nice short hedge for the potential long idea. And then you can just watch for the long to get confirmed or not, in which this case, and then you have a nice short runner. So missed scalp short here, which, yeah, I was not sharp. This should have been, could have been a nice trade, and yeah. Unfortunately didn't take it, but really nice to see that local 1, 2, 3, and then align that together with the aggressive buying at the highs. they get trapped, and then they getting used as liquidity. And this is where probably they unwinded their position. So a nice confluence. And right now it's looking pretty bearish. We are below Monday's low again. And here we created clear supply. So just zooming out on the main range, we are also below the value area low, which is that blue dotted line. So I think it's a matter of time before we take out the range low into that demand. So basically waiting for that level to be hit. In case we first come back up, then I'm interested in potential shorts, 2 down. And from here, the same as always is just in play. Basically tap 2, potential tap 2 in the formation, and then see what we do. Do we take out, come up, take it out, get a strong bounce, then look for potential 1, 2, 3, or for that model 1. Yeah, I think everyone just knows it at this point. Range, tap 1, see if tap 2 gets formed. How do you form tap 2? Is it a super aggressive move down? Then it's less likely to play out. Or do we take it and see buyers? Then you know, okay, that's potential good tap. And then we look for tap 3, and then we can just play it to the other side of the range. And most important is still this 4-hour market structure. If we zoom out, BTC has been in a strong trend. So we have been trending higher here all the time. And now for the first time, we are for longer time going sideways. It either means, or at least it means that the bullish trend is weakening, but doesn't directly mean that you get a reversal. However, if we start breaking 4-hour market structure, which is around 78K, then this could very well be the top. And then I'm very interested in shorts, taking out all that liquidity below. But as long as we are above that 4-hour market structure low, this can also be just a trend range reaccumulation before higher. And I'm leaning a bit more towards that idea because we are now first going for the lows instead of going for the highs. So because we are leaving the high intact, also here, lower high, lower high, and lower high, there is still buy side liquidity above. So in my opinion, that increases the probabilities that we get a reaccumulation here for higher, and then eventually get a reversal. If we, instead of here, pushed higher and then started taking out the highs, then it is more a signal of a potential distribution range with the purpose to trap buyers. This is where the big players can step in and then get that reversal. However, for now, I don't see super clean bearish price action or distributive price action. And if we start taking the lows and we see buyers step in there, then to me it looks more like a reaccumulation, which would be bullish. If this turns into a reaccumulation, then I think we can go for that mega POI, which is this, where I expect us to basically do this. So let's see. If we lose 4-hour, then I flip bearish. For now, I don't have much reason to flip bearish just yet. So I think that is pretty clean. Welcome, Studio, as well. He just lol. I'm more bullish after this retrace now. More well. Yeah, that's exactly how we should think. Like a lot of people are always now, oh shit, we are going to the lows. We are, it's getting bearish. But since we are first going to the lows instead of the highs, that's actually more bullish than bearish. If we first go to the highs, that's more bearish than bullish. But it's exactly the opposite of what most people think. But that's good because most people are always losing. So if you are thinking differently from most people, then that's often a good thing. Then quick look at USDT. Yeah, I'm not going to explain everything again. We are simply in the same range. we did not take out, almost took it out, but we still have step 1 at the lows, step 1 at the highs. And we are now close to the range highs. Here it's basically exactly the same. We are now moving towards the highs, which, if until proven otherwise, to me it's more likely that if you first go to the highs, you are now building low, higher low, higher low, higher low, sell side liquidity, that you come back eventually for that before the big reversal. If instead we first went to the lows, tapped into those single prints, then I will think this is the fuel you need for that full high time frame reversal back to the highs. For now, this is the more bullish idea. So what I'm looking for is, if we take the highs, do we distribute here? If we do that, then I expect us to make a deeper move into those single prints. However, can't ignore that if we break above, then and flip that 4-hour bearish structure, then the model 1 is confirmed, and then it can be a really quick rotation back to these highs. But until we flip 4-hour structure back to back to bullish, I'm more leaning towards this being a redistribution before taking out the lows, and then from there form the accumulation. So in my opinion, yeah, not that much has changed, and for the bullish part, this is now looking better. Let's see. So that's it for BTC, USDT, and let's discuss ETH quickly. Yeah, okay. Like what ETH, the price action of ETH, it's so bad. There was finally during London some strength, and then just a full reversal again. This is showing seller strength, no structure at all in this move. So this is also not where I'm interested in any longs. Before getting interested in longs, I want to get like clean structure, so something like this, and then internal break, and then I can work with it. For now, this needs more time. If we zoom out, yeah, this local, can keep an eye on this local range, but I don't like how this is pretty aggressive down, aggressive up, aggressive down. It's not really a good range. So for now, I'm just gonna delete it and watch the higher time frame, where we can look for that 1, 2, basically still looking for that 3 tap, which can be either here for the model 2, like that, or do that while tapping into this demand. I believe we, or we did take it, but yeah, basically looking for the model 2 or model 1 here still on ETH, which needs to confirm anywhere here, because if we lose this demand, then it looks very ugly. But also here, to me, it would be weird if this was the distribution range. It's a weird way of distributing. Equal highs right here, high untaken. My best guess is that this is reaccumulation, that we then push up, take out those highs, and then from there maybe start a distribution and then go down. But we'll see. Eventually, it's all about the entry confirmations. And as you can see, I can make a lot of plans, but most of those plans never turn into a trade, simply because it's not going what I want to see. Also here, I want to see structure and not a direct sell-off. Now we have a direct sell-off. Now I know this needs time before a new trade presents itself. Okay, so that are the main crypto pairs. Let's have a quick look at gold. Yeah, so first of all, we had a super strong squeeze earlier. And then basically here we had a 3 drive, start of the range high, then local start of the range low, then pushed higher. But I now see it as tap 1 at the high, tap 1 at the low. Then we took out that high, and then almost directly saw a sell-off to the low. So we have taken out range low, we have taken out range high. And now the question is, what is happening? We are losing the value area. So most volume is right in the middle here. But this is where it gets interesting. Because I said when price was here, we have taken out both the high and both the low. So now it depends where we go first, what is likely to happen next. So if we first go up, then I would be more bearish. If we first would come back down, then I'm more bullish. Right now we are coming into extreme demand, which is wick supply. So wick demand. So basically a wick is always demand, but it's also demand on a certain time frame. Not sure what it was. 10 minutes maybe. Yeah, it's also 10-minute demand. So why I'm interested in potential trades here is we have 10-minute demand overlapping with the VIP from this swing low to that swing high. Locally, this is also liquidity, buy side liquidity. So this is instead of what we have with ETH and BTC, like this is a strong move like this that creates supply. So then you know if you come into it, that is where sellers can step in again. But this is a slow move down. So this is not supply, but more a controlled move down where you leave liquidity behind and then you can squeeze quickly after that. Also, if we are going to stay in this range, then in my opinion, we have tap 1, tap 2, and to me only a higher low for a bounce here makes sense. Because I think if we make a new low, then under this low, we have literally nothing. Yesterday I also said like below this low you don't have anything. But there we took the low and then directly saw buyers step in. So it seems like they want to defend this area. But if we take out this low again, then I think it just falls directly into that next demand. So it's like either they step in here or no, or not, which is like an inflection point. And that's always where I like to look for trades. So let's watch. And this can be just a nice 1, 2, 3 model 2 accumulation. And then here it can potentially flow over into a short again. But let's see what our PYs are. So 10-minute demand is here. And locally you can just watch what is obvious structure. Well, 10-minute to me looks pretty clean. Low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So for now, this is the internal bearish structure, which means that you want to break that. Then you can look for the higher low and then the higher high. However, best case scenario is that we haven't hit our main POI here for the Model 2. So what you would love to see is to get new structure. For example, this lower high, lower low, lower high, and then lower low. Tap into that main POI, demand and VIP, then break structure. And then that is a long trigger for me. And then instead of this being your market structure high, you can then look what is the last high that brought me into a new low. And then that is this high. So then here, if you see buyers step in, especially if you keep that liquidity intact, this is basically your entry trigger. and this is your stop loss. And then target would be around the ball 2 POI, something like this. Then as extra confluence, what you want to see is that the break back to bullish, you always want to have a strong break. You want to have tapped into this demand. And you want it to be in your value area low, preferably. So by that time, you can watch where's your value area low. Right now, it's pretty high up. So currently, it's right here, which is a little high up. But maybe if price spends more time down here before confirming the model, then that value area low will also go lower. So this is basically the pre-planning for a potential long, which I do like quite a lot. You want to have that structure right here and then break it and enter it. If this just falls down strongly, then I expect much lower. But the fact that we are leaving this local liquidity behind, I think it's likely we travel back towards those highs eventually. So keeping an eye on gold. Beside that, can have a look at some other coins. Let's first look at the chat. Imagine the clarity act is actually successful later tomorrow, then this would have been so clear in hindsight, but I don't trust all the promises. Oh yeah, that's tomorrow, the clarity act. Yeah, I honestly have no idea how big of an impact it will have. If it's passed, if it will be a big catalyst. But yeah, the big boys, they probably already know what the outcome will be. And then you have to think like the big boys, what if they want to fill their orders before big news, what would you do? Would you push price higher or would you push price lower? Use them as liquidity, fill your own orders, and then tomorrow bullish news and then boom, boom, boom. So yeah, it could be that they are now aiming for sell side to build their own positions. That's how they work. So yeah, could be. We believe have a new DD dictionary word, inflection point. Yeah, it's one of my favorites, to be honest. Okay, let me quickly go over the others. Like hype is not really interesting. It's just slowly bleeding down. With the main POI right now is that liquidity here and that super clean demand. It's like super clean demand. So I'm watching that. While this could potentially can also draw your range from there to here. I'm also watching for the reactions if we take out this low. Let me put an alert actually. High time frame, this is still trending up. So you can also say that this is your range high. Oh, that's silver. Now I'm getting interesting. Where you can say this is your range high, this is range low, mid-range, tap 2, lower high, and this is potentially tap 3. And then taking out the liquidity into that demand, that would be super clean. So I'm also going to keep an eye on the reaction around these levels. Locally, the way price is moving down, this is like the catapult. Again, difference between strong sell-offs where you create supply. This is a sign that you later likely come back for all that liquidity. This is just a lot of buy side liquidity. So eventually price will take it out again. in which I'm interested in potential longs later on. Tao, yeah, that model 2 played out. It was not a really clean model in my opinion, because yeah, locally you had the 4 tap, and the distance between your tap 1 and 2 and 2 and 3 is really short, and you never broke structure in the move into your second tap. So normally for model 2 you want to go up, then break structure from your second tap, and then look for your lower high, and then you have a lot of confluences. Right now it did play out, but it was not the cleanest model, so I was hoping for another sweep of that level for shorts, but instead price is now at the range low, so you can watch what is price doing here. Do we flow over from a distribution potentially back into an accumulation? For now, structure is clearly bearish, so you want to see it stall out a bit here. But then if you come back up, this can just be a reaccumulation, potentially. So let's see how that develops. Let me put an alert here. And then, yeah, I will go over the sweet trade. First, quickly looking at silver. What is that doing? God damn. How is silver so strong compared to gold? I'm no expert in the correlations between them. I've never charted or traded silver, but I thought they were pretty correlated. But silver is strong as fuck, and it keeps front running me every single time. Just I've been scanning it. The bias has been right all the time, but I don't get entries. Super strong, but yeah, hopefully gold follows, but it first needs to tap into the POI. Okay, let's discuss the SUI trade, because as said, it was in hindsight not the best trade. Why was it not the best trade? We did have range low. I know maybe people are watching now and think, oh no, that's the wrong way. I actually don't like to pull my ranges from low to high in a downtrend. In my opinion, they often do not play out. And in my opinion, the right way is to draw it from high to low and then watch. Okay, then it would still be a valid way. High, low, mid-range. So then you could still watch for that idea with tab 1, tab 2, tab 3. So that was all good, all valid to look at. However, what I later found is that we never broke structure. So let's move this one down there. Tab 2. So this is valid, where you have tab 1. You take out the low, get a good bounce back in. Then that's tab 2. Then you make a new low. The distance between tab 1 and 2 and 2 and 3 is already not that well. But then you come back in. And this is where I went wrong, basically. Let's, for now, show it like this to make it more relatable. But you want to break structure back to bullish to confirm your tab 2 and especially your tab 3. However, price never did that. So if we count it from the high, we have low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So, and this is lower high, lower low. So this is just basically a downtrend. And what you want is that you have your sweep from tab 1 to 2. And then confirm your tab 3, you want to break structure back to bullish. If you had like this, lower high, lower low, and then broke it, then you confirm your tab 3. But right now we never had structure to work with. So it was, I took it a bit too aggressive without analyzing it too well. But this was never a confirmed. Like even on the 5 minute, this is tab 2, this is tab 3. There was no structure in this leg. So the tab 3 was never confirmed as an entry. As a model, basically. And then here we basically started a new range, which eventually was more a distribution range. Just delete it. So this was all just basically market structure. And then here you can see, okay, this is low. We are downtrending, so they pull your range from low to high. And then you could even see that it's more low, high, mid-range, valid range, deviation, tab 3. This looks more like a redistribution range in hindsight. Tab 1, tab 2, tab 3, model 2 distribution, break of structure, low, low. So in hindsight, it was not a good trade. But they are part of the it, and now we can learn from it. So nothing wrong with it, basically, but yeah, I should have spent more time analyzing it. But we learn from it, and now yeah, it looks pretty fucking bearish. There's nothing here. Let's look. So basically all gaps. So price from here, yeah. Like there's some demand here before that last strong impulse. But from here, current price to that demand, it's basically free air. So there's nothing to hold it up. So it can drop 3.5% very quickly because this is nothing. So yeah, that's basically the analysis from Stewie. Okay, let me look at the chat. In the meantime, I'm gonna monitor gold a bit because that's the only trade I see in the near future. For BTC, I want to see or low be taken out, or if we get back up and show weakness, then I'm looking for basically a trend continuation till we reach the range lows. And then you can always look for the confluence of your VIP, of your VWAP, for example. So if we get tap into that, you can short it, but you can also take your last high. So this was our manipulation high of that 1, 2, 3. So this is where sellers stepped in and pushed it down. Then from that level, you can also pull a VIP. Why I'm saying VIP? VWAP. And then watch if you get a move back into that level and then structure break or a tree drive, then you can basically scalp short it to your target, which is the main range low for me. That's a good way to use VWAPs. Okay, let's look at gold and then at the chat. See, Jupa Joseph. Good. Welcome to the stream. Gold is pushing a bit to break structure. Yeah, I've been discussing it. I don't know if you joined later, but for my, at least for me to give a trigger, I need it to tap into this demand. And that is the model 2. That will be a clean model 2, where we have tab 1, tab 2, and then this is the higher low, but that needs to tap into extreme demand or extreme liquidity. In this case, we don't really have extreme liquidity. Well, it's here, but it aligns with extreme demand. So we need to tap this. If we then break structure, then this is a super clean model 2 reaccumulation. So then I would long it after the break, stop below that low, and then target, yeah, let's see, technically the range high. But this can also turn into a model 2. So it can also go here and then flip. But basically the moment you flip structure, then I would take profit. I'm super interested in in longs because we have all this easy to grab liquidity. But I gotta stick to my rules, and that is that this needs to be taken and structure needs to break. And for now, the structure is simply low, lower high, lower low. So this is the internal market structure. So if it breaks above that, then the low can already be in, but then it's too high up for me to take an entry. So I hope it does this, maybe SFP, then comes down, taps it, breaks structure, and then here I would long it. So maybe we can manifest it like this, and then I'm watching the chat. This is what I want. Let's see. I took it as well, Sui, but kind against my rules. I couldn't resist though. 50-minute structure was still bullish. 1 minute or 2 minute boss. Yeah, it was like a very local boss, but yeah, in these cases, you can only use a very local bullish boss if you already broke structure back to bullish. But right now, this was all simply bearish. So then it doesn't make sense to use a 1 or 2 minute bullish boss. You can only do that if you already broke structure back to bullish. So let's say you form tab 1 to 2. If your tab 2 broke back to bullish, then you can be more aggressive. Or tab 3, if you come down here, lower high, lower low, then break, then I would, on the retest, for example, look at 1 minute breaks. But right now, basically all trends were pointing down. So in hindsight, this was just a bad trade. It's more of a downtrend or like slow bleed down. Adding this to my notes, journaled. Good. Yeah, journaling, basically, it's the best. If you need to make these mistakes to learn from them. So, yeah, you'll not be mad for taking a loss or anything. Just see it as a new lesson. And I also still make less mistakes and stuff. So that's just part of it. Yeah, 15 minutes was still bearish. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, well, I think plans are pretty clean. This is my, in the next few hours, this can still give an entry. Hopefully it follows the plan and doesn't break already. Otherwise, it's again a front run. But sticking to the rules is for me more important than catching the trade. Because I know if I don't stick to the rules, then I will, again, in the next trade, don't stick to the rules. And then eventually it only worked backwards to me. So I'd rather miss a trade than break my rules entering it already. So gold, a lot of potential. BTC, locally bearish. So maybe if I'm behind the screen and we come to like this is nice. So you don't have a lot of structure. The only structure you really have is low, lower high, lower low. So internally, this is your market structure level, which now aligns with that daily VWAP and also the anchored VWAP. So if you then get a move up, a lot of times price wants to take liquidity above a swing high, aka an SFP. If you then break structure back to bearish locally, that is a super nice short to scalp it down again. So keeping an eye on that. And if we come here, then looking for longs, or at least open to look for potential accumulations formations. But for now, we are moving down pretty strongly. And in these cases, Bitcoin is still the king. So be very careful with looking for altcoins, because as long as Bitcoin moves down, altcoins will now also go down and invalidate any bullish models or anything. So that's why I always mostly focus on on BTC, and then you can see that like altcoins, they will invalidate it. So then main attention is to watch for the main ones. ETH needs more time, and yeah, the other ones I already discussed. So I think everyone is clear. Are there any questions or things you want me to look at? Otherwise, I'm gonna wrap up the stream. So far this week has been pretty challenging, but those are also part of the game. Some weeks guys have seen it scalp after scalp after scalp. And some weeks are like this, where market is super choppy. And then like Sui, I also took it because I didn't take a trade this week. So I saw it like, oh, it looks potentially pretty good. But yeah, I forced it basically because I did not take the time to analyze it too well. And that ended in a loss. So some weeks you have all the opportunities and some weeks not. And then you take a loss. But that's part of the game. And yeah, not every week will be a winning week. Although I'm still positive. We have still a few days left, of course. It's still early in the week. So always looking forward for the next trade, and that can still make it a super good week. So let's see. Slatan has a question. Yeah, and let's hope gold follows the plan. I'm gonna put an extra alert. And I kind of found why TradingView is often not giving me my alerts. Right now, if I open a new one, then then I see like 6 missed alerts. And then it's like they are in the background or something. Right now, they have been refreshed or something. If I now close my laptop, then I get at least the first few alerts. They will come in. But still, it's not ideal. But hopefully gold follows it, then can turn into a nice long. Okay, Slatan, I have a question. Thoughts about adding Sui today, which is not one of your training pairs? Yeah, I've been thinking about it, but I have added some pairs to my secondary. I don't look at them, but if I have spare time, then I have added a few charts among Dodge, Sui, and Zek. But I keep them here. I'm not gonna analyze them each day. I want to keep my attention very narrowed. So I've added them, but I rather keep it super clean. So I'm not. I can have a look at it from time to time, but main attention remains on the current watch list. I feel most trust with them, and yeah, as I said before, if you add too much, then mentally it will always feel like there is somewhere a chance and this and that. I just like to keep it simple with a few charts. Yeah, maybe that's what by mistake happened. Too many pairs. Yeah, so I will stick with the current ones. I think that's more than enough, to be honest. Let's see. Do you get the alert notification on your phone? Yeah, exactly. So if a super clean model presents itself, please share it in the Discord. Then I can have a look, and then we can all benefit from it. But I try to keep my mind a bit focused on just a few pairs. But if you guys see anything, definitely share it, and then I will look at it. Do you get the alert notification on your phone? Yeah, sometimes, but most of the alerts go by. If I'm behind my screen on the laptop, then I get the alerts. But if I close my laptop, then I rarely get alerts. Maybe the first alert I get, But if I have multiple alerts set, then yeah, like the first 1 or 2 alerts, I get them, the rest not, which is pretty frustrating because I've missed a lot of trades already because of that. So if anyone has a solution for that, let me know. Let's see, Kijos, I only had 1 trade so far this week, but it's fine. Learning a lot and getting better, not jumping into trades too soon, but hopefully we get some excitement tomorrow. Yeah, great. And often people think you, as a trader, you should trade every day or multiple trades a day, but that's not true. A lot of traders only take a few trades a week or maybe even less. And that's all. It's better to take 1 winning trade in a week than multiple losing trades in a day. So good. And you can always learn during the time or just improve with other things, sporting, reading, journaling, working on your business, anything like that. And Astral, really appreciate your honesty and transparency on mistakes and not just highlighting your wins. I find this quality as useful to learning and growth. It's equally as useful to learning and growth. Yeah, sure. It's yeah, I can pretend that I'm only winning, but that's obviously not the case. So if I take losses, I also want to share them, and I also feel it's a bit of my obligation. Like everyone in the community is super honest and super transparent, so I'm just doing the same. And yeah, if it's helpful, and I know it's helpful for people, that I think it's a good thing. So thanks for it, but we'll try to keep it real as always. Yeah, same on laptop, but I always get them on my iPhone. Yeah, but for me it's the opposite basically. Okay, I think it was a very good stream again, and hopefully we get some clean setups. Kijos, do you have any idea at what time the Clarity Act news will be released? Then probably will be around New York or anything, but then we can take that into account. For now, all eyes hopefully on the gold long, and let's see what locally we get from the others. But this one has the most potential locally. Okay, thanks, Kijos, and thanks everyone for tuning in again, and speak to you guys in the Discord. Cheers.